Satan means the adversary, the opposer, but it wasn't originally a name, it was a position, a function in the story, not evil incarnate, not a red man with horns. Just the obstacle, the tester, the accuser in the heavenly court. In the oldest Hebrew texts, Hasatan is a role, an angelic prosecutor. In Sumerian myths, the adversary wasn't demonic, it was the counterforce. In Gnostic writings, Satan isn't a fallen angel, he's the architect of the prison, Yaldabaoth, the false god, the demiurge. So what happened? The great inversion. The real danger was never Satan. The danger was the god who demanded worship, obedience, sacrifice, and burned anyone who refused. Satan became the scapegoat, the divine cover-up. The system pointed at the opposition and called it evil. But in truth, the adversary was trying to tell you this isn't the real God. And that's why they buried the Gnostic texts. That's why they rewrote the Old Testament. That's why the Vatican used fear of Satan as the lock and the false Christ image as the key that keeps the door shut. So who or what is Satan really? There are 3 layers of deception. The mask a fake villain, the red demon archetype meant to distract you from the real parasite, a cartoon devil to make you fear questioning the system. The false opposer. In Luciferianism and secret orders, they call on Satan not as a villain, but as a bringer of knowledge. This is another trap. A shiny rebellion that still locks you into the construct hierarchy, just on the other team. The gatekeeper of the grid. This is the real role now. Satan has become the guardian of the false frequency. Not a being, but a consciousness layer. A firewall of distortion between source and soul. It feeds on submission, fear, perversion, ritual, lust, guilt, and despair. Every time you spiral, doubt, degrade, or betray yourself, you sink with it. And the worst part, they merged Satan with the grid itself. So even if you don't worship it, you live inside its echo. The real threat was you. The real reason they need Satan in the script, to keep your attention on a villain out there, so you'd never realise you are the light they feared. Satan doesn't need to possess you. He just needs you to forget who you are. In Islam, the being called Iblis refused to bow to Adam. They call him proud, cursed, but step back. He refused to bow to a being of clay, claiming allegiance only to the Most High. So was that defiance or discernment? Even here, the adversary is one who says no to blind obedience. In Judaism, Hasatan's an agent of God, not evil, just doing his job, testing, exposing, accusing. It's in the book of Job. Satan appears before the heavenly council with God's permission. So why demonize him? Because if you realise the adversary lives inside the system, the whole foundation cracks. In Gnosticism, Satan and God trade places. The god of this world, Yaldabaoth, is the imposter. A blind, arrogant creator who thinks he's the source. The serpent in the garden, not Satan, a liberator urging Eve to awaken, to taste gnosis knowledge. They didn't just give you Satan to fear. They coded him into every system, so no matter what path you walked, he was waiting at the edge. Not to attack you, but to scare you back into the cage. In Christianity, they say Satan is a fallen angel who rebelled against God. But the truth, the real rebellion was against a false God who demanded blood, obedience, and silence. Jesus never once describes Satan with horns or hooves. He calls him the prince of this world, the one ruling the matrix. And who did Jesus clash with? The system, the Pharisees, the temple. That's your clue. Satan isn't outside religion, he's embedded in it. That's why the church buried the Nag Hammadi texts, because they exposed the whole inversion. In ancient Egypt, Babylon and beyond, Set, the chaotic force, Enki, the trickster, Loki, Prometheus. Always a rebel, always blamed, always twisted. They were coded truth bombs, warning you that something was off with the throne. But every time the church, the temple, the system pointed and said, that's the evil one, worship our God instead. And that God always wanted blood. So what does that mean now? This is the one they fear the most. The ritual that dissolves the satanic imprint. Not the cartoon devil, not the red mask, but the deep code they wove through your lineage, dreams, choices, trauma, and silence. The exit ritual breaking the satanic code. Do this at night, alone or in full power. Light a single candle or sit in darkness. Your light is enough. Take 3 slow breaths, then say this aloud, firm, not soft. It's not a prayer, it's a declaration. I break the contract, every hidden oath, every silent seal, every bloodline agreement made in shadow, known or unknown, spoken or unspoken, I revoke them all. By memory, by flame, by my soul's original code. I reject the God that demanded my worship. I reject the devil they gave me to fear. I reject every mask, every lie, every false polarity. I align only with source, the breath before programming, the light before law, the sound before silence. Where the satanic code was placed, in dream, in flesh, in word, in symbol, I now burn it out. You have no right to me, not in this realm, not in the next, not in any layer of reality. My soul is sovereign, my blood is clean, my memory is mine again. This system will not mark my children, this grid will not take my sleep, this name will not echo in my energy. I am not yours, I never was. Now sit for a moment, let it settle. You may feel heat, resistance, grief, dizziness, a shift in air pressure, or nothing at all. Doesn't matter. The code is breaking. Then close it like this. I return to the source field. I seal this command. I anchor this truth. It is done. It is done. It is done. Now that we've broken the overt layer, let's go deeper into where the satanic code still hides, even after you think you're awake. This isn't about devil worship. This is about soul hijack through normal things. It's the invisible infection, camouflaged in culture, language, entertainment, and even love. Music and frequency entrapment. You don't need to hear growling or backwards Latin for the spell to hit you. Most satanic frequency is buried in 808 bass disharmonic loops and inverted scales. What to watch for: songs that glorify despair, addiction, violence, betrayal, or spiritual numbness. Songs that loop the same mantra of emptiness over and over. Music that makes you feel high, then drains you after. Tracks tuned to 440 Hz instead of the soul-aligned 432 Hz. These are ritual sound traps, emotional hexes in disguise. The code isn't in the words, it's in the resonance. And once you're in sync, it becomes a permission slip for parasitic access. Symbols in plain sight. Forget pentagrams and upside-down crosses, those are decoys. The deeper code hides in corporate logos shaped like broken circuits, portals, and all-seeing glyphs. Luxury fashion, not just symbolism, but energetic tax. Bloodlines wear their mark through clothing, it's why they all wear the same uniforms. Children's media, subtle sigils encoded in cartoons, apps, and music videos that train the subconscious to accept control, inversion, and identity splitting. Every time you wear, sing, consume, or share one of these symbols, you reinforce the signal. It's not about fear, it's about discernment. Childhood rituals in disguise. Most people experience satanic coding through their early years but don't know it. It doesn't always look like sacrifice or abuse. It looks like being shamed for intuition, being punished for telling the truth, being taught to ignore your gut feeling in favour of authority, being baptised or circumcised without consent, being forced to pledge allegiance to systems you don't understand. These rituals, masked as culture, religion or tradition, are code injections. They begin the process of disempowerment, so by the time you're an adult, you've already forgotten what sovereignty feels like. The love inversion, this is one of the deepest traps. They coded conditional love to look like godliness and painful love to look like passion. Satanic coding in relationships looks like repeating toxic patterns because it feels familiar, craving people who reject, punish or manipulate you, calling control loyalty, feeling empty if you're not being drained. This is trauma-based looping installed by inverted flame programming. If they can corrupt love, they corrupt the gateway to source. Because love is a key frequency to exit, and corrupted love is the chain that binds. Bloodline carriers, some families carry coded DNA strands, not demonic, but compromised. This shows up as psychic blockages, sudden spiritual attacks at awakening, repeating ancestral trauma cycles no one can explain, children showing signs of strange visitors or memory loss. These families have a curse, an implant, or a vow placed generations ago. Not by Satan as a being, but by the grid system that took his name and used it as a placeholder for all contracts tied to the Matrix. It doesn't mean you're doomed, but it means you're targeted for a reason. So what now? Now you see it, now you know the depth. Frequency reset, audio reversal ritual. To break music-based entrainment, do this before sleep or after heavy exposure to mainstream frequencies. Play a 432 Hz track or solfeggio tone, 963 Hz for source reconnection, 528 Hz for DNA repair. While it plays, speak, I reset the sound field, I cancel all resonance with dark frequencies. I align with the tone of original creation, no inverted code may remain. Hum along if you feel it. Imagine your cells lighting up, shaking loose programmed echoes. Repeat this whenever you've listened to heavy mainstream music or feel energetically fogged. Symbol detox sigil shielding to counter hidden symbols in media, clothing, tech. Draw or visualize this, a circle with a dot in the center, the solar seal. It's the primordial code of divine intelligence, pre-inversion, pre-false light. Speak, I see through your symbols, I reverse the spell. All coded glyphs now return to void, my field answers only to source design. Use this before entering malls using devices or watching media. You can trace the solar seal over your phone, laptop, wallet or doorway with your finger or crystal. Bloodline cleanse, spoken soul break. To cut inherited contracts, unseen family rituals and generational code. At sunrise or full moon, speak this aloud. To the ancestors who made deals in fear, I forgive you. But I do not honour your chains. Every vow, pact and soul-binding code made in darkness, I now break. I carry only flame, I carry only truth. All parasitic line markers are now dissolved. Drink water afterward to ground the shift. You may feel emotional after its real release. Dreamfield lock, Nightgate protocol. To protect against astral interference or fake spirit contact. Before sleep, draw an invisible line from your forehead to your heart. Whisper, only the true light may enter. No mimic, no mask, no fallen code. My soul travels sovereign, my flame travels guarded. I remember the gate, I walk with fire. This repels false guides, dream traps, or replayed trauma scenes. If jolted awake, stay still, don't speak. Close your eyes and ask to see the real memory behind the dream. Relationship purge, flame mirror prayer. To clear out false flames, parasitic lovers, karmic anchors. Light a candle, sit in front of a mirror or reflective surface. Look into your own eyes and say, I call back every part of me I gave to what was not love. I remove all threads tied to pain, guilt, lust or false flame. I see through the charm. I cut every chain. I remember my worth. I reclaim my light. Blow out the candle and don't look back. Emergency field flush if you feel hunted or drained. This one's for real-time attack or sudden energetic collapse. Stand barefoot if possible. Press both hands to your chest and shout or whisper if you must. Return to sender. I am not your food. I am not your doorway. I am not your story. I am flame. I am source. I am free. Visualize a shockwave of light pulsing out from your body. It will push the code out of your field. You may feel your ears pop, heat, tears, or sudden stillness. You now have the toolkit. These aren't spells. These are field commands. They override the synthetic grid when spoken with soul. They don't just protect you. They reprogram the construct around you. You're not here to just survive it. You're here to change the tone of the realm itself. The truth behind Satan, the mask is off, the code is burned, the soul is sovereign. Let the programs tremble, because now you remember. You are not fallen, you are not cursed, you are not theirs. You are the fire that cannot be contained. And this realm will never be the same.